Hey guys, how's it going? So, my name is Deidre Hunrose.
I very kindly comes.
Today we're doing a team call, and I'm really sorry if you're not a yellow personality, but I am, and it wasn't even my idea. It was this Mary Carolyn Collins, who is a blue personality. She decided that it would be really fun to try these out.
A little icebreaker.
It's an icebreaker.
Icebreaker.
Breaker. With a re, as in hoy.
Alright, a raker.
Breaker. You guys get it, right? It's really hard to say your V's and your V's. V is in boy, like
Boy.
girl, and boy.
Boy.
And then
Boy.
it's name something with a V.
Violin.
Oh, like a
Violin.
Okay, guys, so Angela and Hodges, you gotta really get it up in there because sometimes it really starts to go everywhere. Okay, I think are you good with these? We just wanted an icebreaker.
Just to say hello.
Hello. Okay, are we good?
I
I gotta to do this because I'm drooling everywhere. Okay, guys, so hopefully that made you laugh for like a minute. Let's get down and dirty. Today we're going to be talking about time management because everyone needs help with time management, right?
Right.
You need to be seen a little bit more.
Good.
There we go. Okay. So time management, I feel like it's something that a lot of us struggle with, including myself. Whether you are a full-time working coach, whether you're a part-time working coach, whether you're a stay-at-home mom working the business full-time, whether you have a full-time job and working full-time Beachbody, like this girl right here. So I think that talking about the bucket list and how to manage your time effectively is going to help you guys with your business and be most effective and efficient with the work that you are doing. So you can be successful in all areas of your life, because this time management that we're going to talk about is not just being successful with Beachbody. It's about being successful in every aspect of your life. When you can manage your time well, then you're going to have that nice sense of accomplishment at the end of your day, especially when you're, going in bed. You want to be able to say, I had a great day, I got a lot accomplished. Whereas if you are not managing your time effectively, you're going to be going to bed mad at yourself and not getting anything accomplished. And then it's like a vicious cycle, and you don't want that to happen. So hopefully we're going to help you and give you guys a little idea of how we manage our time. And hopefully it can rub off on you guys a little bit. Hopefully it can rub off on myself even more, because I'm really not that good at time management. I'm working on it, which is why we did this. So last week, Mary Carolyn and Kayla came over to my house, and we were doing a power hour, and then we saw a squirrel and decided to work on calendars, which I'm glad that we saw a squirrel, because it was something that we needed to do for ourselves and for our businesses. Because just being honest with you guys, I have been struggling with my time management a lot, and I needed a change, because, I've had a lot of changes in the last 9 months with moving and having my boys 90% of the time, and I was getting nothing accomplished at all. Like nothing with my business was getting done the way I used to do it. So I'm really glad that they came over and we sat down and actually redid our schedules and calendar. So I feel like it's helping a lot more, and I feel like I'm back on track where I need to be. And it literally, it happens like that. I don't know. We were talking and just saying how much more accomplished we felt after we even made the calendar.
Yeah. Well, you kind of said a little bit how, if you have a bad day, if you don't do what you had planned, or you don't feel really accomplished, say Monday, you didn't do all that you could have. Tuesday, it's a good idea. You think that, oh, maybe I didn't get everything done yesterday, so I got to do it today. But it's kind of like a vicious cycle that just keeps going and going. But if you can get into a good groove with a good schedule, I don't know. I think it's super, super important, no matter what your day looks like. If you have kids or you don't, or you have another job or you don't, I think it's really important for everyone to have a calendar and a schedule to follow.
Everybody. Okay. So we actually just have a couple notes, not much, because we want to talk more about our calendars and schedules and how we are running our business and the hours we're putting in. So I have a personal development book, and Mary Carolyn has a personal development book. They're both on time management and trying to help us stop procrastinating. So I went off of Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. It was I think it was the third book I read when I started coaching, and it really, really helped me. Because when I started coaching, I wasn't a stay-at-home, work-from-home mom. I was a full-time nurse taking master's classes, having a newborn and a 1-year-old, and building a house. So I had a lot going on, and I feel like getting educated on on the time management really helped me with building my business from the get-go. But now that it's changed and I am a stay-at-home, work-from-home mom, I feel like it is helping me just in a lot of different ways. So I just have to reapply, the things that I'm doing differently. And then Mary Carolyn has.
So this is the book that I'm going to talk a little bit about. Chalene Johnson. She's kind of like my best friend.
She's mine too.
She just doesn't know it, but I know it. She's my best friend. In her book, I thought it was really fitting that like the first chapter talks about priorities. I just think it's kind of funny because I have really experienced, I've been a coach for almost 6 months now, and like 4 months, 4 days, it'll be like 6 months. Yeah.
Yay.
So I have really had to like think about my priorities, and it's something that I have struggled with a little bit because I love this business so much. It's really easy for me to put all of my time into it and kind of forget about the other areas of my life. And my husband is really, really supportive. He believes in this business, and he's really supportive, but I found that one way I was going to turn him into an unsupportive spouse was to always be on my phone or always be working or always talking about Beachbody or, just be consumed with it. I knew that was going to, and at some points I won't lie, he got annoyed with it. You're always on your phone in the car or whatever. So for me to kind of put my priorities in check and like think about the things that were most important was like really big for me. And I just want to read this one thing from her book. I know it's kind of boring to listen to someone else read, but bear with me. It's not that long. Again, this is from Chalene's book. But yes. Priorities are those things that are so important that if they were stripped from your life, you would be devastated, unfulfilled, and living without purpose. Who do you want to be? What do you want to accomplish? What makes you happy? What do you think is your purpose in life? And what gives you pride? And she goes on and asks lots of other questions, but I just think that is kind of like big. And if you ask yourself those questions, I think that your priorities will really shine through. So I just kind of took some time to like brainstorm my priorities, and they'll probably come through really quickly to you because you know what's most important. So there is this idea, and I first heard it when I first hit Diamond in like a corporate training that we get to do when we hit Diamond about the 5 buckets. So they're kind of, yeah. So it's kind of like the idea of it is to think about like the top 5 things in your life that are most important or that you need to like spend the most time doing. So for me, they were my family. And then my personal Beachbody business. And that was something that I didn't really think about that I needed to separate. But I think I almost started to say as new coaches, but I think maybe even more so whenever like, you're really successful, you have to like separate those, your personal business and, your organizational business with your coaches and whatnot. So for me, it's my family, my personal Beachbody business, my organizational business, and my coaches. I have another job. I probably should have talked about myself a little bit more before diving right in, but I have another full-time job, and then my like personal time and my faith. I kind of put those all into one. So those were the buckets that I picked. Want to talk about yours?
Yep. Okay, so the buckets that I picked are actually really, really similar to hers, and we did not look at each other's before we did this. But I have family is my first one, and then I have my personal business, and then I have my organizational business, and then my 4th one is me time because I feel like I don't give that to myself, and then my 5th one is my faith. Which I have really stepped up and started making a priority because it is important to me. So we're going to talk about our buckets and our schedule here in a minute, but I just want to touch base on, she talked about the Shalene's 30-day push. And whenever I was reading Eat That Frog, I'm just going to take a couple parts from the very first chapter that I thought was really good, because a lot of us ask ourselves, okay, well, how much time should I be spending on my personal business? How much time should I be spending on my, my organizational business where it's working with your team? Like Mary Carolyn said, your personal business is your own business, your invite, you're working on your social media, doing trainings, stuff like that to build your business. Whereas the organizational business is working with your team and helping them, doing one-on-one calls, doing team calls, doing trainings for them, that kind of stuff. So with that said, following the 80-20 rule is what Brian Tracy has taught us to do. And if you do a lot of research, to be successful, a lot of people use the 80-20 rule, kind of like with your fitness journey, the 80-20 rule. If you're eating healthy 80% of the time, you're going to have a lot of success with your fitness journey. So following the 80-20 rule is also called, I don't know if it's the Pareto or Pareto principle. If you guys have heard of it, you may be understanding what I'm talking about. It's either the Pareto or Pareto. I don't know, like burrito.
That's what I thought.
I always think of food whenever I talk.
Yeah, I'm
every
currently
time.
hungry. I'm
My
thinking
goodness.
about burritos too.
We'll make something after this. All right, so whatever. Let's just call it the 80-20 rule. But it's really not about having enough time, because everyone can say they don't have enough time. But guys, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's really just making use of the time that we have and making time for the important things that are going to help us be successful. So in this book, he read off a couple stats, which I thought were really interesting, that kind of went with the 80-20 rule, just to give some facts about how it does actually work. So 20% of your activities account for 80% of your results. 20% of your customers will account for 80% of your sales. 20% of your products and services will account for 80% of your profits. And then 20% of your tasks will account for 80% of the value of what you do. Ding, 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 right there. Okay, so there is a number of tasks that we do every single day, but only like half of those tasks will actually contribute to a large percent of your success. And out of the half of the tasks that we do that actually contribute to our success, only one of those items on the list can be worth like 5 to 10 times of what the other items will do for you with being successful. Does that make sense? Does that make sense how I said it?
Yeah.
Okay. So that one task that will be a huge part of your percentage out of everything, that is your frog. And that is what Brian Tracy tries to tell us to do, is eat that frog. So what you don't want to do, what usually people procrastinate on, is what you want to do first, because that is going to help you feel more successful at the very beginning of your day. It's going to make you feel good about yourself. But a lot of people procrastinate on things, and I'm totally guilty of this. I do have a frog that I don't do first thing in the morning. I do it in the middle of my day, but I really should do it first thing in the morning, is inviting. And I'm probably sure that a lot of you guys will say that that is your frog as well. What's your frog?
I kind of have two. My biggest one is not necessarily exercising. I like to exercise, but I will tell everybody my biggest struggle in this business is not the inviting or, the work that I have to do like that, but it's eating clean. That might sound stupid, but that's probably my biggest struggle in the business. So I work out first thing in the morning. I used to work out at night, but I found that if I work out in the morning, I'm thinking more throughout the day about, I had a really good workout this morning, so why am I going to blow it by eating something that I shouldn't? Also, personal development is not necessarily a frog for me. I love to listen to podcasts, but I'm not quite yet big on reading. I have to really think about it. Like, I have to really schedule it. So I have started maybe the past month, when I get home from my day job, before I start my power hours, I read for 30 minutes. It kind of gets my brain right, but also if I don't do it when I first get home, I'm probably not going to do it because I'm not a big reader. When I finally sit down to do it, it doesn't bother me and I get a lot out of it. But I would say a little bit reading is a little bit of my frog.
Nothing wrong with that. And everyone has a different frog. Like, there's no right or wrong frog. It's your personal, struggle that you procrastinate on because maybe you don't like to do it. Maybe you're uncomfortable doing it. Maybe it's just really hard. So like for me, inviting as a frog, because I do get uncomfortable inviting people. I'm just being honest. So you need to figure out what your frog is and you need to eat it. Like, shove it in your mouth and eat it.
I think for a lot of people it is inviting.
Yeah, I think so too.
Not everybody.
Which is why a lot of people aren't successful because they end up not doing it at all because they just don't want to. And inviting is the first vital behavior. And I mean, obviously that shows how important it is. So it is, even though I don't want to do it, I do it. But it's one of those things that as you continue doing it, does get less scary and less uncomfortable. It used to scare the crap out of me and now I can do it and I'm like, whatever, I don't care what people think of me. But before I really cared what people think of me, and I think that was another issue of why I didn't want to do it. So anyways, just to give you guys a rule, resist the temptation to clear up the small things first. A lot of people leave out the frog, the most important thing, and they get so focused on doing all the other little things, scrolling through Facebook, messaging people back and forth. When you do a follow-up, maybe you end up answering like 5 other messages on Facebook that aren't even contributed to your work, So it's really important to focus and not multitask. I think that is huge too. A lot of people try to multitask, and some people are good at multitasking. Red personalities can be good at multitasking. Yellows, I'm not good at multitasking. I can't do it. Mary Carolyn watched me prep my part of the call. And I'm like, oh, I got to do a post. Oh, I got to check in with something. Oh, hey, by the way, did you know about this? And she's like, Deidre, finish.
I said that.
Finish. So I don't know. Multitasking is not good for everyone.
But even if you're a red, you can try to multitask too much. Like even if you think you're the best multitasker in the world, you could multitask too much. Can you say that again? That quote that you said about resist to do small. I think that's so important and so meaningful.
Yes, resist the temptation to clear up small things first. I like it.
I like it too.
And honestly, once you stop multitasking, you will realize how much better you will be at that one task that you focus on. Like, if you focus on so many other things, you're going to end up just being average at those things. Why not stop doing all of the things, do one of them, and do it really, really, really well? That's going to help you be more successful. All right, so we're going to go ahead and talk about our schedules now and how we do a power hour based on what we have going on in our lives. So, Mary Carolyn, do you want to give, I guess you already said you work full time, and maybe just talk about what you do.
Yeah. So I work full time from 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. And I'm married, but I don't have kids. My husband works kind of a little bit of a weird shift. He works a lot on the weekends. So, in terms of my Beachbody business, it kind of works out well because I have some time on the weekends that I can get some stuff done. It does make the middle of the week more like his weekend. So that was kind of something big for me that I had, this was so important. And I was thinking so much, I am either giving too much to my business or not too much to Chris. I don't want to say it like that, but not focusing that enough on my business. And I really had to find balance, and doing this with Deidre and Kayla was just kind of a big epiphany. I think it's going to be a game changer in my business. I really, really do. I also think that, like I said, my husband is really supportive, but I know that some people's aren't. And I think if you come up with a schedule, and your spouse or your children or whoever, they know when you're working, and they know that Monday nights or Thursday nights or whatever are off limits for personal things, unless it's something really big. I think that's really important. I know it meant a lot to my husband whenever I was over here at Deidre's and we were working on this, and I came home, we talked about it the next day, and I said, hey, this is what I've laid out. And it meant a lot to him that he was on there. I planned in time for him. And maybe you think that sounds bad, you don't want to have to plan in date nights or plan in, time with your spouse. But if you want this business to, go somewhere, I just think it's really important. Think about if you currently have a full-time job, or you did have a full-time job, or whatever.
Hair. Sorry.
Squirrels. I'm shedding.
I'm picking hair off her
She's
legs.
me up like a monkey.
Sorry.
But you have a schedule at work that you follow. So this is work. You need to have a schedule. You need to have a plan of attack. That's more what I think of this. It's a plan of attack for my life. How am I going to accomplish everything that I have to accomplish? Because I don't use the excuse that I'm busy. I'll just be honest, I get annoyed when I hear it, because I do.
Yeah.
We are all busy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have kids. So someone with, a whole bunch of kids, but Alicia, you tell that girl that you're busy. So anytime I think I'm too busy,
she'll punch you.
She won't. She'll be so sweet about it. But I want to punch you in the face for her, because don't say that you're too busy. Like Deidre said, we all have the same hours in the day. It was just figuring out a game plan for how I was going to attack those hours and get everything accomplished that I wanted. So my schedule might stress you out to look at.
We're going to post these in the team page so you can see them a little bit closer.
So I color-coded it. Deidre color-coded hers as well. It just kind of helps you to look at it. And my yellow is my personal Beachbody work. So I know that it looks a little bit like that's all I'm doing. But I think whenever you look at it when we post it in the team pages, that you'll see that it's just because I broke it down to every little thing I'm doing. But what I personally like to do, I have 2 really big days where I spend a lot of time on Beachbody, because what I was trying to do in the beginning was work 4 hours each day. Well, if I'm working from 4 to 8, and then I only have from 8:30 or whatever, bedtime with my husband, it really wasn't enough time to go to dinner. We love to go out to dinner. We love to go out and hang out with friends or whatever. It wasn't enough time to do that. So what I decided to do was create 2, kind of 3 big days where Chris knows I'm pretty unavailable. And now those days for me are Mondays and Thursdays. Thursdays, it just kind of fell into place because that's when Deidre's team calls are, and I try to never miss them. So Mondays and Thursdays are my big days. Chris, it's his free night to go hang out with his friends every single Thursday night. That's what, we did, and that's what really works for us. So, and then you'll see Tuesday and Wednesday, I spend 2 hours working on Beachbody, which you can get a lot of work done in 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You can get a lot of inviting
That's
done.
2 hours.
Yeah, you can get a lot done in just 2 hours. So, but by the time 6:30 rolls around and my husband is getting home, I'm done for the night every Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, if he has plans or something, you better believe I'm hopping on my computer. So, that's that. So, and you will see in there, I have starting to point, they can see what I'm pointing at.
I do the same thing.
But I have some times in there that say flex time, which
it's all those colors.
It's all those random colors. I have some on Tuesday, Wednesday, a little bit on Saturday and Sunday. So that is my, Deidre has her time. Maybe I have a 6 bucket and I just didn't know it.
Why? What do you
because
mean?
you have your personal time.
Your personal time is with your faith, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is kind of my time to do what I want.
Yeah.
So I like to hang out with friends, and I like to do a little bit of extra Beachbody work whenever I can. So I have some time for that written in as well. But like I said, we'll post these in the team pages so you can kind of see the breakdown.
Okay, so share with them what you do in your power hour,
Okay.
like all your yellows.
All my yellows. Okay, so well,
so like your challenge.
So like I'm going to break down one day for you, which is my Monday. I check in with my challenge groups during my lunch hour. So like for 30 minutes, I'm checking into my challenge groups and showing them lots of love and support and whatnot. I will not open messages, Facebook messages during that time, because I used to do it and then I wouldn't work while I was supposed to be working. And I can't be doing that because right now I still need my day job. So I can't be doing that. So I will not open messages unless it's time to open messages. I think that's really important. And then whenever I get home from work, like 4:30, like I said earlier, I spend 30 minutes reading. And that is really important to me to get that time in. Because if I wait, like, eat that frog, if I wait until I say, oh, I'll do it before I go to bed, I'm not going to do it. And then I do inviting and birthdays. I kind of have those together because I'll normally start off with birthdays, message those people first, and then do some inviting from 5 to 6. And you can get a lot of invites out in an hour.
Like a lot.
A lot. And then the next 30 minutes, I check in with my training groups. So I always do mine first. Like right now I'm in a Push to Diamond and team leader group. So I will check in with that group. And then if I have a coach in a like Push to Emerald group, then I'll like check in with them, make sure that they're doing whatever. So that's what I do there. And then on Monday nights, I take 2 hours to eat dinner with my husband and spend a little bit of time with him, maybe watching TV or something. But he knows at 8:30, I'm going to disappear into my office. And then I have some time set aside for my coaches. And this is the time that like my coaches know that I'm available for one-on-one calls. I've only been in the business for 6 months, so I don't have a ton of working coaches. So sometimes if I don't have a call scheduled, sometimes this is me messaging them, checking in with them. Hey, how you doing? What's going on, either fitness or with their business, whatever. Sometimes this is me checking in with them. And then every single night this is Monday through Sunday, every single night at 9:15, I'm checking in with my challenge groups. I put an alarm on my phone because we get a lot of notifications on Facebook, like a lot of notifications. And I'm one of those people who, if I see a notification, I'm really tempted to like answer it right then. And I was doing that, and it took up a lot of time. Like I was probably spending like over 2 hours a day, like just like it's just so little here and there. It's so easy to do, just like little here and there. So now every night at 9:15, I'm checking in with my challenge group, doing my check-ins and commenting on their stuff and whatnot. And then I go to follow-ups. Then I do trainings. Like right now, I'm doing a Jesse Reagan training. Anything that I'm working on for me, that'll change, every month. Then this is something new that I'm starting now, is implementing 1 hour on my Monday to work on my blog. And then I have down return messages, and I have like any other necessary tasks. So like kind of like just like a wrapping up my night. So on Monday nights, I end my night at 1 o'clock. And then I start over the next day with my workout at 5 o'clock.
We're on a call. You need to go back out. Go.
And then Tuesdays and Wednesdays look really the same. I only work up until 6:30. I was just going to keep going. I only work up until 6:30 when my husband gets home. And again, that's kind of his like weekend. So like, because his schedule's weird, that's kind of like our time together. Then Thursday is the day that I do like everything, and I don't take a break. I don't take a 2-hour break with him. I just work all day long on Thursday. So yeah, personal development, birthdays, inviting, training groups,
those are
challenge group check-ins. Those are my big.
That is your power hour.
Yeah.
So she does it kind of throughout the day. I mean, sometimes you have to do that when you work another full-time job. Actually, I do it throughout my day too, because there are times where, you need to be with your kids and you need to do other things. So yeah, I love that I love your calendar. I think it looks great. It's very organized. Very organized. Did you want to add anything else, or are we
No,
good to go to one?
I think
Not so organized.
I think we're good. Yours
Okay.
is organized.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they think.
Yours, I feel like mine's stressful, and like I'm sitting
I
here
think yours
talking
is
about it, and
great.
I'm like, they're probably so confused.
No, it's not.
But if you
at
look,
all.
I think if you
it's
look
perfect.
at it, you'll understand it more than me talking about it.
They'll understand it. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay.
It is. Yes, it has the specifics of what you do. You don't just have Power Hour on there. You broke it down and told them exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, hers is more of a red personality where it's organized and on a computer. I am a yellow, and I like pen and paper, and I like to color and draw. So that is what I did.
I didn't know I was red until like
a day ago.
Until like Beachbody started happening to me. I thought I was blue. I am blue, but I'm a little bit red.
Can you go pee with him, please?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So while she takes my son to go pee, because I'm not going to leave because I'm trying to talk to you guys, we'll do this. All right. So I love the pen and paper. I love highlighting. It's kind of the same thing, but I just like to hold it. I know I could print it out, but this is just how I like to do it. You need to get out now. I'm on a call. Go. You guys are going to hear me get mad. All right. So I have my family time, my personal business, my organizational, me time, and my faith. So the first thing that I do is I write in my family time because it is a priority. So that goes on my calendar before anything else. And you will notice my weekends are pretty open for my family because that is my time with my family. My kids aren't in school and we go places and we do things. So that's what I like to do. Next is I separate my personal business and my organizational business, and you'll notice if you look at the colors, I follow the 80-20 rule. I am working 80% of the time on my personal business and 20% of the time on my organizational business, building my team. Because if I am not working on my personal business, my team is not growing. So I have the exact same tasks of my Power Hour on as Mary Carolyn did. So I check in my groups. I do my posts in my groups. I am doing my blog, which is how I grow my business, my Instagram, my birthdays, follow-ups, and invites are usually grouped together. And my call, like my national wake up call, corporate calls that I have every week, those are my personal business because it's helping me grow my business. I think that my YouTube videos, I do YouTube videos once a week of some sort. And yeah, that's what I have for my personal business. Then on my organizational, that is doing one-on-one calls, doing coach trainings, having coach training calls, doing team calls, prepping for that. That is my organizational. So my me time, you guys can color code these or put them in whatever bucket you want. But for me, my me time is my working out because I would be doing it even if I wasn't doing this business. That is like my place where I feel good. I relieve my stress and my endorphins, release those endorphins. What is that from? Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde, because I would say that. But
happy
it's
people
just,
don't kill their husbands.
Happy people don't kill their
husbands.
husbands. We should do a post on that. Okay. So that is a lot of my me time. My me time is meal prepping because that is something that makes me happy and it relaxes me. As weird as that may seem, probably doesn't to a lot of other people. But my other part of my me time would be going shopping. It's a big problem I'm trying to work on to give myself too much of that. And if I would go to the spa or if I would, go walk around Walmart because I want some time for myself or Target, like that's what I'll do. And then my faith is spending time at church and reading the Bible, which I'm getting more into. So I set aside time to focus on those things. I'm not going to go hour by hour, minute by minute of what I do. But I did at the bottom add up the hours that I'm working each day. So when I started working my business, I was putting in like an hour a day on the days that I worked as a nurse, and the days that I didn't work, I would put in like 3 hours maybe, especially on the weekends. I was able to put in a little bit more time. Now I'm putting in 35 hours a week approximately. It's usually on the weekends, I don't do as much. I said that. So like 1.5 hours is one day, 3 hours is another day. And then during the week, I do a little bit more depending on if my youngest is in school and what we're doing. Because I do have my youngest son pretty much all the time. 3 days a week, he's in preschool for 3 hours. So 9 hours of the week, I don't have kids. The other part of the time I have my kids. So I just kind of revolve my schedule around that, and it works really well for me. And it's been awesome since I've been able to create this schedule. But just notice how specific our tasks are on our calendars. Don't write out power hour. Write out when you're going to do your invites, when you're going to do your follow-ups, when you're going to do your birthdays, when you're going to work on your social media avenue that you're trying to grow your business, because you need to do trainings on that. You need to be always consistently getting updated on what's new and what's out there so you can, be more than just average. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say with that.
Yeah, I think for me, we were just talking about personality colors, and I said I was a rainbow. But like, I do have a little bit of yellow in me, and I have ADD, like diagnosed, like I really do. So I can like start this and then start that and whatever. This, or we have not had that much time to implement this. I was already kind of following the schedule, like I was working like basically this number of hours on these days, but by breaking down the tasks, it is helping me and is going to help me so much. I also think if you do this, you're going to find a lot more time in your day than you thought you had. It amazed me how much work I'm able to fit in here.
Can I talk about my yellow for just a minute and then I'll be done? Okay, so I just told you how yellow I am and how much I have a shopping problem with my me time. My financial advisor just sent me a text message that said, we need to put you on food stamps. Because I said I need help with my shopping problem.
He said we need to put you on food stamps.
So I can live life how I want to. Okay, that was rude. I mean, it wasn't rude. I used to be on food stamps, so I'm not trying to you know what I mean. All right, I'm going to stop the share. I hope that you guys get something out of this other than how yellow I am and how she tries to control me a little. Like, take me back. Put me back to where I need to be.
Someone's got to bring out my red. I've got to keep her. Got to keep her in line. I think that was everything.
I like it.
Yeah.
I hope this helped you guys. We have 2 totally different lifestyles, lives.
There was one other thing. So sorry, making this just 2 seconds.
Go ahead, squirrel. Take it out from me. Go.
She's rubbing off. So like I said, I've been in the business for 6 months, and one of my big fears or things that I kept telling myself was I don't know if I'm spending enough time doing this or enough time doing that, and I was leaving off some things that I should have been doing, like creating YouTube trainings for my coaches. That's not something that I was doing. And TJ was like, well, why? How are you going to train your coaches? That's what she said. And I was like, oh yeah. How am I going to train my coaches? So to have your upline or, someone who knows what they're doing, look over your calendar, and then, with, beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're doing everything you need to be doing to drive your business forward. So I know that if at the end of the day, I follow this calendar and I do all my tasks on there, I should be moving my business in the right direction. So for me, that's really important.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Cool. Thanks.
That's it.
Wasn't our guest host pretty awesome?
Thank you.
And she's only been in this business for 6 months, and she is completely amazing and just rocking it. Alicia, you're a good leader, girlfriend. You taught her well. Yeah. She's taken right after you. All right, guys. So thank you for getting on. If you guys have any questions, just post below. We'll put this on YouTube here and put it in the team page. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.